When she starts losing respect, it usually doesn't happen in one explosive moment. It happens quietly. In the middle of a conversation where she's trying to explain why something hurt her, and instead of hearing her, you get defensive. In the moment she looks at you, hoping for strength, hoping for emotional steadiness, and instead, she feels unpredictability. In the slow realization that the man she wants to trust deeply feels harder and harder to rely on. And your mind goes there instantly. Why is she pulling away? What changed? Why does it feel like I'm losing her even when I'm trying? Here's the truth most men never hear clearly enough. Women rarely lose respect because of one mistake. They lose respect because of repeated patterns that make them feel emotionally unsafe. Not because you're imperfect, not because you're struggling, but because certain behaviors signal weakness, instability, or emotional immaturity beneath the surface. You are not doomed, but you do need awareness. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand the 7 behaviors that instantly erode respect, and more importantly, what emotional strength actually looks like instead. Let's get into it. Most men believe respect is earned through dominance, success, or control. But the real truth is this. Respect in a relationship is built through emotional stability, integrity, and consistent masculine presence. A woman's nervous system is constantly reading whether you feel safe to trust, safe to lean on, and safe to emotionally invest in. And here's what most people miss. She is not just responding to what you say. She is responding to who you become under pressure. When your words and energy don't align, when your presence feels unstable, when your actions create uncertainty, respect starts to drift. Because beneath the surface, respect is deeply tied to safety. And when safety weakens, attraction often follows. So if you want lasting connection, this is not about becoming controlling. It's about becoming solid. Here are the 7 things that make women lose respect for a man instantly. Emotional reactivity over emotional strength. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples assume anger, jealousy, or emotional explosions prove passion. But in reality, uncontrolled emotional reactivity often signals fragility. When every disagreement becomes defensiveness, shutdown, or aggression, her nervous system starts registering you as unpredictable rather than safe. She may think, I can't be honest with him without it becoming a problem. That changes everything. For example, disconnecting version, why are you always criticizing me? You never appreciate anything I do. Connecting version, I hear that you're upset. Let me understand what you're actually feeling. One creates more walls, the other creates trust. Because true strength is not losing control, it's maintaining presence when emotions rise. And when you do that, she stops bracing herself and starts feeling safe beside you. Lack of purpose or direction. This is where it gets really interesting. Most women are not expecting perfection, but most couples underestimate how deeply respect is tied to direction. A man without goals, standards, or internal drive can begin to feel emotionally adrift. Not because he lacks worth, but because uncertainty creates instability. When she feels like she's carrying all the vision, all the momentum, or all the ambition, something shifts. She begins to feel less like your partner and more like your manager, and attraction struggles to survive there. Disconnecting version. I don't know, we'll figure it out eventually. Connecting version. Here's what I'm building, and here's how I'm making it happen. Purpose creates gravity, not arrogance, not perfection, but grounded movement. That's when she feels like she's beside someone becoming, not someone drifting. Dishonesty, even small lies. Bro, this one is massive. Most people in relationships think respect disappears because of major betrayal. But here's what nobody explains. Small dishonesty damages trust like tiny fractures in glass. Excuses, half-truths, avoidance. Each one quietly tells her nervous system, if he bends reality here, where else does he do it? And once trust becomes shaky, respect follows quickly. Disconnecting version. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to upset you. Connecting version. I should have told you sooner. That's on me. Not manipulation, not image management, not damage control, just integrity. Because honesty is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about being real enough to own them. And that's the shift that makes respect deepen instead of disappear. Constant need for validation. And this is the one most couples never figure out. There is nothing wrong with wanting love. But when your entire sense of worth depends on her approval, the dynamic changes fast. Neediness can feel like pressure. When she constantly feels responsible for reassuring you, proving herself, or stabilizing your self-worth, emotional exhaustion sets in. Her inner world starts saying, "I need a partner, not another person to emotionally carry." Confidence is not pretending not to care. It's knowing your value without demanding constant proof. Disconnecting version. Do you still love me? Are you sure? Connecting version. I value us, and I'm secure enough not to force reassurance. This isn't emotional detachment. This is grounded self-respect. And when you embody that, connection feels freer, lighter, and more real. Inconsistency. Honestly, this one destroys more relationships than people realize. Most couples focus on big romantic gestures, but respect is usually built or broken through consistency. Promises made, promises forgotten. Strong one week, withdrawn the next. Present today, absent tomorrow. This unpredictability creates emotional whiplash. And over time, inconsistency can feel more painful than outright failure. Because she never knows which version of you she's getting. Disconnecting version. I know I said that, but things changed. Connecting version. I said I'd handle it, and I will. Reliability is deeply attractive, because consistency communicates maturity. And when she can trust your patterns, her walls begin to soften naturally. Avoiding accountability. Here's what changes everything. Respect dies quickly when blame becomes your default. Most people in relationships protect their ego before they protect the connection. But defensiveness often feels like emotional abandonment. When every issue becomes someone else's fault, repair becomes impossible. She starts feeling unseen, unheard, alone. Disconnecting version. You're overreacting. Connecting version. I can see how my actions impacted you. That sentence alone can change the emotional climate of an entire relationship. Because accountability is not weakness. It is one of the clearest forms of emotional leadership. And when you practice it, conflict stops feeling like warfare and starts becoming repair. Disrespecting her boundaries or emotions. This one is instant. The fastest way to lose respect is to repeatedly dismiss, mock, or invalidate what she feels. Most couples don't realize this, but when a woman feels emotionally minimized, her trust can collapse quickly. Not because she needs constant agreement, but because she needs to feel that her inner world matters. When her emotions are treated like inconveniences, she stops feeling cherished and starts feeling alone. Disconnecting version. You're being too sensitive. Connecting version. I may not fully understand yet, but I want to. That is emotional maturity. That is presence. That is what keeps connection alive. Because respect grows where emotional safety lives. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming deeply aware. When you understand these patterns, you stop unknowingly eroding connection and start building something far stronger. You become a man whose presence feels steady, whose words feel trustworthy, whose love feels emotionally safe. And that changes everything. Because real respect is not demanded. It is built through who you consistently choose to be. The relationship you want starts the moment you become someone safe enough to sustain it.